Hi, this is Wes Clark Jr. Welcome to the Wes Clark Jr. Show. Today our guest is going to be Lila Connors, founder and director at Tree Media. And we're going to talk about her upcoming movie that comes out this summer, We the People 2.0. So that's the trailer for Lila's new movie. Now, let's widen it a little bit and bring Lila in here herself.
Hi, Wes.
Hi. Well, see, we know each other, so we met a couple months ago, and what really hit me is that you get it. Like, you get what is happening on the multiple inputs that's affecting what's happening in the world today. And really quickly, I mean, what's the crux of the argument of your movie if people didn't get it from the trailer?
The crux of the argument is, in spite of what we were taught in school, normal citizens, everyday people in this country really don't have democratic access to lawmaking. We don't have rights. We think that we live in the most powerful democracy in the world, but in fact, we're not in a democracy anymore. We're in an oligarchy. And that's not just a statement, that's a reality, and that affects a lot of people. And because we don't live in a democracy, we don't control the things that affect us as much as we'd like. So for example, if you live in a community that has poisons being dumped in a dump or fracking coming in or whatever it is that may be coming into your community, you don't have the power to stop it. So that's what the movie's about. It's about saying, hey, look, if we want to live in a democracy, we all have to become citizens again. We have to look at our Constitution, we have to look at our laws, and we have to create a world that we want to live in, which is within our right as people. And right now, the system has evolved to be a system that has taken away our rights. And so we felt, based on the work of Thomas Lindsay, a small law firm, nonprofit law firm, has been dealing with these communities for many, many years, trying to protect them from these harms. And he arrived at this conclusion. He's been trying to save these communities from all these problems, and he wasn't able to do it. Using the law, using democratic process, using communities to gather together, muster majorities to come and say, hey, we don't want this. And at the very end of the day, they're usually preempted by the state law or federal law saying, no, well, we've allowed, like in the case of Ohio, they have a law that doesn't allow communities to sue the fossil fuel industry, because the state has decided that fossil fuels are okay, so anything they do is okay.
They can't sue the fossil fuel industry for an accident that happens and affects their property?
No, they're not allowed.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a Kasich law, put it through in Ohio.
Kasich, by the way, who the mainstream media was pushing as the reasonable Republican candidate just a couple months ago.
Exactly. So they strip local communities the right to make law. They strip people of the ability to protect themselves using the law. So if we think we live in a democracy, we have to think again, because that's not exactly what other people are experiencing. And usually it's in communities that don't have the power or the money to fight back, which is why we have that 1% discussion. I think the movie, what we're trying to do is ground all of these things we see in the media, the Occupy movement, the 1% discussion, you know, even Black Lives Matter. All of these things are symptoms of this deeper problem, and that's what this film's about.
No, I noticed even here in Los Angeles, I remember a few years ago, remember all the controversy around the oil pump at Beverly Hills High School?
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, people in Ladera Heights and Compton and South Central are dying from all the wells in their property that nobody cares about, nobody tries to clean up.
Ashley Hernandez is in our film. Very late in the day, we went on the toxic, Mark Ruffalo had the toxic bus tour of LA, and I had been aware of Wilmington, but I hadn't been to Wilmington and in a long time. And Ashley gave us a tour of Wilmington, and they have flares that are going off 24/7, completely against the law. They've actually sued and won against the, I think it's Warren, Warren is the company, and they won't shut the flare down. So even after winning a lawsuit, the company just ignores it. Because this is a poor community that can't afford the lawyers to make them stop.
And generally, all these things are done in poor communities nationwide, or am I exaggerating?
Very, very, very true.